Ann Lee didn't preach, but she performed. Her authority didn't come from theological arguments or sermons. She led the Shakers through performance that made people experience belief themselves. Early accounts of Shaker worship describe bodies spinning, collapsing to the ground, trembling, swinging violently. One of the most astounding things that choreographer Celia Rowlson Hall gets right is the physicality of this movement. The beating of the chest, the falling, and even down to the specifics of the rounding of the hands moving into the air. People didn't just watch Ann Lee, they joined. In fact, this worship was so physical that Ann Lee described these early spiritual experiences as laboring. She compared the screaming, singing, and physical strain of worship to that of childbirth. But instead of giving birth to a child, she was trying to literally force sin outside of her body. Almost every early account that we have of Ann Lee describes her singing as having no words and just vocalization. If there were words, they were in tongues, with one convert saying that she could speak 72 languages. Even though this idea of her singing without words can be quite jarring, all of these accounts talk about how beautiful her singing was. Even hostile accounts couldn't deny it. A 1780 text claiming she was a British spy still talked about how mystical and charming her voice was and impossible to ignore. If there's one thing to understand about the Shakers during Ann Lee's lifetime, it's this. They believed because they experienced. She showed belief, and those who listened experienced it themselves, which is why it makes sense that eventually her life would become a musical. But this is just Ann Lee the performer. Ann Lee the female Christ, this is definitively my favorite part of her story, and that's up next.